Great. Thank you so much, Heather, for being here. Welcome, everybody, to our Meet the Yoga Teachers YTT Life After YTT. So Heather here did her yoga teacher training with us online last year in 2024. And so she has been teaching for a whole year now, and we are delighted to welcome her to this chat. Heather, thank you so much for joining us today. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. It's lovely to be here. Thank you for asking me to come along.
Great. So we've got loads of really great questions for you, but I just want to start by giving a little bit of background to Heather. So she has been teaching for a year and is pretty dedicated there with her local community. She's been teaching weekly classes in her local library and with her friends and family. And she's also been doing a lot of studies on the side and has been doing some workshops and trainings, and recently did her yoga nidra training as well. So I hope we can learn a little bit more about that in our chat today, Heather. So let's get started. Heather, how has your first year of teaching been for you?
Well, it's been pretty amazing, actually. When I first started, I didn't anticipate really teaching in my local community at all. I started with my online class for friends and family. And a group of people I volunteer with said that they would be interested, but they couldn't cope with online. And that if I ever decided to do a class in person, that I should let them know. I sort of fell into doing the class in the library. It was all a case of serendipity, really. I noticed that the library had a lovely space, and something just clicked in my head, and I thought, gosh, maybe I could share yoga and set up a class for some of these people who've expressed an interest. And I went to the library. The librarian was super friendly and really keen to get something like this going. And this is how I managed to start off guiding yoga in the library.
Great. Oh, thank you so much. And so you mentioned that your online classes were your friends and family, and your library classes were sort of people that were finding out and wanted to do it in person. Are there any other people finding you now, from maybe people from the library, or how are you meeting more people?
I think with the library class, I'm at capacity. The space isn't very big, and it's kind of word of mouth. So initially, I think I put up some posters in the library, and the librarian posted on their Facebook page. And gradually over the months, we've had people join through word of mouth, really. Someone said, oh, I was telling my friend about your class, and they said, oh, they'd like to come, that sort of thing.
Yeah, great.
And the family and friends class has stayed mainly the same, which is lovely,
Yeah, it's so nice to be sharing with people that you've known for a long, long time, and then suddenly you've got something that you know would be helpful to them. And so, yeah, I bet they're so thankful that you have this to share with them.
I think that was one of my first main reasons to want to share yoga. From my very first ever yoga class, I realized that it did something for me, that it changed something inside that felt good. And I just thought, so some of my friends and family have long-term medical conditions, and I thought, I wonder if this might help them, and maybe if I could do a yoga teacher training, that I would be able to share with them. And so it came to be, really, which is really exciting and really good.
Yeah, that's so great, Heather. Thank you so much for sharing that. And your friends and family are so lucky to have you working with them. So when you started your yoga teacher training, did you think that you would become a teacher afterwards? on a wider scale, or did you just kind of step into it to share with those people that you thought you could help?
Yeah, well, initially it was just to be able to share with friends and family, maybe some of my work colleagues. And then, as I say, I just kind of slipped into doing the class with the local community. And actually it's so rewarding. I had no intentions of doing this class. I still work and had no intention of doing it, but actually it's really it's a really enjoyable thing to be able to do. We've got a nice little sense of community going on, and it kind of lifts my spirits. It seems to lift the spirits of the students as well. It's just a really good thing to have got into, which it's really quite surprising for me, Carrie, because I don't know if you remember from the beginning of the yoga teacher training that I'm really quite a shy person, and all of my life I have shied away from doing any sort of public speaking. It would absolutely terrify me. And right from the beginning in our yoga teacher training, we were sharing yoga in our small groups with online, which gave me a sense. I mean, it wasn't exactly comfortable, but the smaller groups made it really a bit easier. And teaching in the library, I think you get like a sort of yoga head on. So it's not about me. It's about what I can give to the people in my class, if anything, or it's all about them and it's not about me, really.
Yeah. That's amazing to hear that, Heather. And I know that you did find that you felt shy in the beginning, but you wouldn't know it. You have such a beautiful presence and such a nice way of speaking and sharing, and you seem very confident and very relaxed to me. And I'm sure your group in the library feel the same. In the library, you teach chair yoga, is that right?
It is,
Yeah.
yes.
So did you do some training, or have you managed to kind of work with what we studied on the YTT and then adapt and bring it into this sort of seated format?
It was a bit of both, really. So I did an online course, just a self-learning. And my house is absolutely full of yoga books. So I'm very interested in accessible yoga. And it just seemed to me that for whatever reason, if you can't get up and down off the floor very easily, or you know how yoga is portrayed often in social media, where we've got sort of very thin white people who are very bendy. And, you know, you don't have to be like that, do you? We know this, that you don't have to be like that to gain the benefits from yoga practice. So this is why I went down the line of chair yoga, a little bit perhaps easier on the body to do the physical postures, but still getting all the benefits from breathing and the meditation. It was just brilliant. And it's interesting that some of my students, in the library, they're mainly an older age group of female students. And a lot of them have said to me, oh, like I did a lot of yoga, but it's been about 40 years or however many years it's been. And something is bringing these people back to yoga, and they're really glad to be back to it. And they may have been out of it for like years and years, but the knowledge in themselves that yoga is still a great thing for them is there. And the chair yoga just makes it so much easier for them to come and get the benefits. So yeah, great big fan of chair yoga here.
That's fantastic, Heather. I can't believe they've been out of practice for decades and then they're coming back. That's amazing. That's amazing.
My students are
That's so great. So I'd love to ask you a little bit more about sort of the personal impact that the yoga teacher training and teaching has had on you, and whether you've noticed any changes sort of within your own self. I know you mentioned you feeling more confident speaking in groups and things like that. But is there any other changes that you've noticed in and around your yoga practice or just life in general since this course?
Yes, for sure. It's had quite a substantial impact on me, I would say. So I think now one of the biggest things is that I often stop and take a breath so I can respond to things rather than reacting. So, you know, if someone says something or fires off an email at you, just to think, no, actually, I'm going to just take a pause and think about this before I respond to it. Other things also to do with work, really, but those very long Zoom meetings that you get and you've got to keep your camera on, but you just think, oh, I really don't want to be here. I've got to do something. So a lovely bit of 3-part breathing can help, you know, just bring you down from wherever you are. Nice, slow 3-part breathing. Your shoulders can come down and no one knows you're doing it. And it's so much better. I would say my personal practice has changed quite a lot. So I love doing yoga in pajamas, comfortable clothes. You definitely don't need fancy pants or anything fancy for doing your yoga. I often decide just to do a few postures for myself, a bit of breathing for myself. So I feel there's less need to maybe sit for an hour. I can often be found doing maybe a tree pose while the kettle boils, you know, at the side of the bed, using the bed as a prop. So I kind of slot yoga in as more of a lifestyle than a practice that we do for an hour or 2 or 3 every week. It's just kind of there. It's just kind of part of my life.
That's so nice to hear,
Be
Heather.
able to guide other people to hopefully find some of this, if that's what they want and need, is amazing, really.
Yeah, it's the tools and techniques, isn't it? It's like we've got a little toolbox full of different things. Maybe they're breathing exercises or physical exercises. And like you say, you don't need to roll out a mat or spend an hour doing it, you know, and having those tools and techniques at your disposal when you need them most. So in a meeting or maybe in a supermarket, if somebody says something that you don't like, or the car,
Yes.
you can just kind of grab them and say, right, I'm going to use this tool, this technique to bring me back as often as we remember, which is so nice. Thank you so much for sharing that. I'm just imagining you there while the kettle's boiling, like doing the tree. That's so great. We had a question from Ruth, who was on our teacher training course with us as well last year. So a good friend of yours now, Heather. And she'd love to know if you have any funny or memorable moments from teaching this year, online or in person. Anything you'd like to share with us?
Yeah, so one moment that really touched me was one of my students in the library came in one day, and she sort of slumped down into the chair and said, "Oh, I'm not doing it today. I don't feel like it. I'm not doing it. I'm just not doing it." And I said, "Oh, well, fair enough. You know, that's fine." I said, "You can just be here with us in the room, you know, maybe listen to your breathing and just be here. Absolutely fine. You do what's right for you today." So we started the class, and as we got going, she joined in and carried on with the class. And then at the end, as we were all coming back into the room after our practice, she sort of looked directly at me and she caught my eye and she said, I feel better. And I said, "Oh yeah, that's really good. You know, I'm glad you're feeling better." And she kind of, without looking away, she kept her gaze on me and she said, "No, I really do feel better." And it sort of touched me. I thought, I feel very humble that people want to practice with me, and being able to channel this practice of yoga that really has benefits like this for people. It's just very, Well, it's humbling. I think it's humbling, and I love that I'm able to channel the yoga to help other people.
Yeah.
And so I've got another funny one, though,
Okay.
if you would like a funny one. Have we time for a funny one?
Yeah, we got time for a funny one.
Time for a funny one. So we were doing some shaking just to get the energy going, you know. And I was shaking quite vigorously, and I wear a smart watch, and I could hear the watch going crazy on my wrist. And then my phone started, and it was like an ambulance siren going off in the class, and I wondered what on earth was going on. And it took a while to regain and come back in after that, but it was quite funny. They were killing themselves laughing at it, but I did see the funny side in the end.
At least you know your watch has got your back.
Well, it has, yeah. It's like I was having a heart attack or something.
That's so funny. That's so funny. Thank you for that. And that story is great, and it's funny, isn't it, to have like these memorable moments. But your story about your lady as well feeling better it's so nice, and it is so humbling, because all we really do when we share yoga is share what we've experienced. And I know that's something that we talk a lot about on the training. Like, we can't share something that we don't know to be true ourselves. And so you just being there and holding the space for that lady and giving her the permission to just do not a lot, but she then felt happy to join in and really benefit. And that's the smallest, but also the biggest thing that you could ever wish for as a guide. And so that's so nice. So thank you for sharing that with us, and that lovely lady as well. I would love to ask you a little bit. I know you've done a lot of studying yourself over the last little while, and you've done a few different courses. And I know we were having a bit of a chat before we jumped on here today. And I just wanted to ask you a little bit about sort of more the philosophical side of yoga, and what's really stayed with you since the training. And how has that looked with you over the last year? And this is a question from Ruth from our community.
Hi, Ruth. Thanks for asking that question. So one of the things I learned about on the course was Svadhyaya, which can have, one of the meanings can be self-study. And the beauty of this is that it can be interpreted many ways as well. So I'm quite a curious person. And since the yoga teacher training, and probably before actually, my house is absolutely full of yoga books now. So I do, because I'm curious about things, I do like to read a lot and learn a lot about yoga through reading, through attending workshops. But the other thing about the self-study is turning that to look inward as well, to enhance and enrich your practice, to look inwards and find out what it is you need on any particular day, in any particular moment, because we are our own best teachers. So I try and in my yoga classes that I guide, to encourage people to look inward towards themselves and find out what it is they might need that day, whether it be, well, whatever indeed it is. So studying themselves to see if they can enrich their own practices.
Yeah, so nice. I can imagine you do that well as well, like holding the space for those people and giving them the options to look inside and to learn from themselves. And we forget to do this. So
yeah. I think it's quite nice when people, so you say these things, you know, I'll give you some options and you decide what it is you want to take today. But generally, well, to begin with, everyone, you know, wants to do what you're doing as the guide. And then over time, people have begun to maybe take what it is that they really need. So they've sort of thought about it a bit, or just feel more comfortable to do whatever it is they need. And I love that. I love when they take what they want and need.
Yeah, seeing that in action is just incredible, isn't it? Oh, thank you so much, Heather. What a great response, and thank you, Ruth, for that very cool question as well. So I'm going to end with a question now. Just maybe a little message if there's someone watching this that's thinking, like maybe I would like to do my teacher training. Maybe I don't know, thinking different things about it. And so my question to you is, do you think anyone can become a yoga teacher? And were there any sort of cliches or myths? And I know you mentioned a little bit about this in the beginning, but is there anything that's sort of been demystified or destroyed since you've sort of taken this journey yourself, Heather? Do you have a message for anybody who's maybe sitting on the fence, or like, what would you say to someone thinking?
I would say go for it. If you want to be a yoga teacher, then it would be great for you to take the Frog Project yoga teacher training. You may have seen messages on social media saying that you can't possibly learn to be a yoga teacher online. It's just not possible. Training won't be any good. And it is absolutely fantastic. The yoga teacher training online worked so well for me. I felt fully equipped to guide yoga on completion of the training. The class numbers are small. The yoga teacher trainers are absolutely amazing. You'll get all the support that you need. And also, I'm still in touch with a lot of the people who I did my yoga teacher training with. In fact, we all had a get together, so you can make friends that you'll keep. And it's such a bargain, such a worthwhile thing to do. So I would say definitely go for it. Don't hesitate. I don't think anyone can be a yoga teacher, but I think if you want to, then it's the thing for you. If you have a desire to do it, then don't let shyness or anything like that hold you back. Just go for it. You'll be supported all the way. It's a brilliant thing.
Thanks so much, Heather. That's so great. And I'm just picturing all your friends, because obviously I know them as well now, and it's so nice. I think what's magic about online is so good because it's flexible, right? You can study when you need to study, you can be from home, all of these things, but it doesn't take away from the real connection, because it's not disconnected and online. It's online but together, and we have that now.
Yeah, definitely. It was brilliant. The sense of community, it was awesome.
Yeah.
And it was so practical, and I'm just so fortunate that I came across you. Everything just fell into place at the right time. So I'm ever so grateful. Because otherwise I would never have been able to do it, like attend anywhere in person, really. So it's brilliant.
Oh, we're so glad, Heather. We're so glad. And we're over a year now since you qualified.
Yeah.
And yeah, maybe we should have another chat in another year and see where you're
at
there.
Let's do it, Carrie. Let's do it.
Thank you so much for your time, for your energy, for sharing with us today. And yeah, I wish you the best for next week's classes. And I will see you very soon.
See you soon.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.